You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Thank you for asking.
Well done.
Thanks for asking.
Good girl.
Yeah. Do you want to know what I forgot during the OCD episode?
No, not really.
One thing that I do. You see how I really, really like television? And I watch a lot of it?
Really?
Yeah, but I don't have a lot of time, so it all builds up. The way I keep up with it, I have an app called Episoder.
Yeah.
And so I use that to keep up with it so I don't miss anything. But I have to still watch it in chronological order, even though it's all built up over the course of a week, so I can watch whatever I want. And Supernatural, which is the best show in the world, is on the fucking Thursday. So that comes almost last. And even though I love that show and I'm obsessed with it and I prefer it to every other show that I watch, I still wait until it's that episode's time. I don't know why I do it, but I do.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another OCD thing, my TV watching habits.
Yeah, you've
And then I
discovered.
and then I sort of get angry at myself and I you know, what's the word? Protest against the other shows that I watch by putting off watching them. But then I realise, oh, I haven't watched Supernatural. And then I get angry, even more angry. But yeah.
You protest at them.
Like, yeah, I protest
you know
the
what?
shows
There's
by
loads
not
of people
watching them.
protesting against the government. You're protesting against TV programmes.
Yeah, I protest against the shows by not watching them. But then I realise I have to watch them to watch Supernatural.
Yeah, almost foolproof.
Yeah, it's just causing myself a lot of pain.
Well, that's a very principled protest, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a dangerous one as well. It's not like I'm tying myself to a tree after it, just before it's being knocked down.
No.
That's just stupidness.
That would be silly.
Yeah. It's painless, harmless.
Who needs trees anyway? So.
Who needs trees? Not Brazil. Why don't we just take theirs?
Yeah. They don't need them for anything, do they?
No, it's just there.
You might find Percy Fawcett. Or, who was it?
Yeah, it was Percy. Yeah, we might find his remains there.
Yeah, dear old Percy.
That would be quite an interesting blog.
I like that we've done this for so long that we can actually do throwbacks. We've done this for a few months now.
That felt good, didn't it?
Yeah. But me and Matt have been doing it while you were in prison.
Oh, yes.
But the throwbacks are nice. I can't wait till we can throw back to Loch Ness.
Oh, yes.
Is that him?
The infamous Loch Ness.
The infamous Loch Ness that we're never going to air.
We'll get round to it.
We'll get round to it. So, Chris, you've been out of the game for so long. Do you want to scream?
Oh, you'd let me?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel honoured. What am I saying?
Intro music.
All right. Intro music.
So you are taking a leaf out of Matt's book.
Welcome to the Dorks Deduction Podcast, where we talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Intro music.
Don't say it like that.
You did once. You did a few weeks ago. You said intro music. It was hilarious.
Say it like some Japanese kid that's got some...
That's not racist at all.
That literally sounded like a sped up recording.
I'll just do that on a loop for the rest of the episode.
Just get me that for my birthday.
Fine, that's fine. I'm okay for anything. I'll get you that. So this week we'll be talking about how much the Black Eyed Peas piss us off. I mean, seriously, they make life so difficult during this week. Because every time I wanted to search for Black Eyed Children, Black Eyed Peas come up, pop up. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and also they just remind me of my lady lumps all the time. So
Your lovely lady lumps.
yeah,
I still prefer Shakira's, like, you know, her breasts are like mountains. Not like mountains, they're small and humble, not like mountains, that's the words, isn't it?
Shakira the singer,
Yeah,
or Shakira that we went to
Shakira.
university with?
No, Shakira, the singer. It's Shakira that we went to university has, like, his boobs are nice and humble, not like mountains.
Yeah,
Nice and humble
exactly.
boobs.
That's why I thought it was strange. I was going to say, he said he doesn't have breasts like Shakira.
Shakira's boobs are fairly nice, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's Turkish, isn't she?
No, she's Colombian.
Is she?
Yeah.
Shakira?
Yeah, she's Colombian.
Huh.
You thought she was Turkish?
I did.
Okay. You learn something new every day.
Yeah, this is such an educational program.
Yeah.
I'm hoping other people have learnt with me. You know.
Yeah.
They've learned that we're
I'll help you
weird.
out, Chris.
Thank you.
People from Turkey are Turkish.
That's where I'm getting confused.
No, what I get confused about is that I meet people from Turkey and they say they're Kurdish, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Make your mind up.
Yeah.
You can't be a Turkish Kurd. You could be half Turkish, half Kurdish. You can't be a Turkish Kurd.
What if you're a Kurd from Lemon?
You're a Kurd from where?
A Kurd from Lemon.
Lemon.
Yeah, a Kurd from
Yemen?
Lemon.
Lemon as in.
A lemon curd.
Yeah. God.
I gave away the joke too early.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about
I
that.
just thought I kept mishearing you. Lemon. Why is it
I
about
was,
a lemon?
I was so excited to get it. You know, I couldn't help it.
Matt, did you
It
write
was
that
an
down a few
amazing
years
joke.
ago and wait to use it?
No. I've thought of it on the spot. How
No, I
spontaneous
do that though. I think of a joke and I leave it in like a vault in my head until I'm ready to use it.
You know, when someone else is telling a joke that they're waiting for the other person, a specific person to get, and you already get the joke, but you know you shouldn't ruin it, but you can't help it. You're like, but I get it.
Yeah.
Damn it, that was hard.
I'm looking forward to hearing some of those jokes, Tarman.
Yeah, eventually, when it comes to the right moment, they come out.
Yeah.
So usually in these podcasts, I spend a week thinking about what joke could I use for this next week's episode,
And then you forget.
and then I forget it. Yeah. The vault it's a very good vault. Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing goes in, nothing comes out.
I've got a great Mason joke I want to tell you, Matt, at some point.
No, tell him now. His dad's a Mason.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
Was.
Well, it's loosely a Mason joke anyway.
Yeah.
So there's a man at a grave, and he's a Mason, and he's working away, and then he sees a man crying his eyes out at a grave, and obviously you think, oh, the poor man, you know, he's sort of lost it. And he goes over to comfort him, and he says, oh, I see, was that your wife? Because he's going, why'd you have to die? Why'd you have to go? Oh. He turns around to him and he says, no, it's my wife's ex-husband. Why did he have to go? And that's very sensible humour there.
That's not grim at all.
See, loosely based on a Mason joke.
Loosely.
Loosely. Yeah.
All right, so this week.
I was trying to segue that into Black-Eyed Children.
Yeah. Yeah, the Masons and the grave. Black-Eyed Children, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you not do any research on the Black-Eyed Children?
I couldn't find it. I kept going back to, like, the most disgusting growths on Google Images. And once you go down that
I
rabbit...
knew that would happen.
Once you go down that rabbit hole, you can't just come out. One does not just come out of that
I
browsing.
left you guys alone for all of a minute. How the hell did that happen?
I know. You go down... It's like YouTube when you end up clicking on related videos and... You end up on a really crazy video. Like I think I started watching some music videos, and then I ended up on a guy pouring hot aluminium down an anthill just to come
Why
out with
would
like.
he do that?
Because he digs it up, and it's like a massive sculpture.
He's an
Oh,
artist.
so he didn't kill the ants then?
Oh no, he killed the ants. I'm sure they died with the.
That's why
the
I said,
moth
why didn't he do that?
Yeah,
Those
well-
poor ants.
They're ants.
I suppose so, but they are ants.
Yes, but apparently I guess I'm a nicer person than you. I find it very upsetting.
But he's an artist. He's an artist.
But then
art.
again, it is like 1/5 of the video is rated down for that very reason. There are people that are like, "Oh,
Like,
this is
how many
horrible."
ants could he... It's an anthill, so there must have been a shit ton of ants in there. That should be, like, illegal. Isn't it illegal to kill animals and stuff?
I think it was out in the American outback, but I'm not sure about ants.
Oh, they're allowed to do anything there, aren't they?
Because I think they're considered pests if they're near a home or something. So you can get away with taking them out.
Bastard.
He's an artist, if you ask me.
Yeah, because you like people that kill things.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
What about wasps? Would you kill wasps?
Oh, yeah, sure. They're evil,
Yeah.
those things. God.
No,
Yeah.
I just leave the window open so they leave.
No, I mean like if they've made a hornet's nest right outside your window.
I've never had that, and I wouldn't do it personally. I would tell
you
my
get
dad,
other
and then
people to do your dirty
I would tell
work.
my dad, and he would deal with it. I'm not going to ask him what he did with it.
You're such a gangster, Tommy. You get other people to do the killing for you. Right? You kind of-
Gangster. My whole life, I've been told the opposite. The schools I went to, they were just like, why are you so posh? And I was like, I'm not posh, okay? And then they're all G's and stuff, and I didn't understand.
G's.
My whole life I've been an outsider in the gangster world, even though they weren't even gangsters.
Like, you're the classical gangster, Carmen. You see a wasp.
Yeah,
and
I'm
you
like
just put
Al
him-
Capone. I don't do
I
this
want
shit
his family
myself. I don't
dead.
get my hands dirty. I don't
want
end up
his-
in prison until
His
I evade
dog
taxes.
and his wife dead.
What did you say? What did you say? I was talking at the same time.
Oh, right. You're like a classical gangster. Like, you see one of those things, you're just like, I want him dead, I want his wife dead, I want his dog dead, I want his whole family dead, and then kill him.
Could you imagine me if I had the power to do that, though?
What? Order?
Yeah, order hits on people.
Oh, man. The world would... It would be like Death Note. I mean... The world might be a better place. It might be even worse, you know?
I just kill all the people that annoyed me slightly. Just even the slightest annoyment.
That's the
annoyment.
person who used to live with you. She'd be one of the first.
Yeah, she did just slip away in the middle of the night, didn't she? So, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and the cleaner, you know.
She knew her doom was
Did
coming.
her in as well, didn't you?
I don't want to end up in prison too. But by sheer coincidence, I may end up in prison when the Loch Ness episode goes up.
Oh,
That's
that
why
old
I'm not
chestnut.
there. I love how the Loch Ness is going to be a running joke. I think the moment we decide to end this podcast, that will be our last episode. We won't air it until the last episode, or that will be the
Ness.
Christmas episode.
It would be like a second wind, and it would be the most
And-
successful one. It would be like, oh, maybe we should continue, I guess.
Yeah, and you know what? I've forgotten what I was going to say. Yeah, no, if we keep talking about it, people are going to think it's an amazing episode, and it's not. It's just a standard episode.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about it.
Gone down in legend.
Oh, yes. Anyway, speaking of legend, the great urban legend of the black-eyed children. What are we thinking about that?
I really want to hear what you guys have to say about this, because I've been hearing you guys talk about it. Obviously, being in prison, I've been kept away from children. So,
And now you're on a list, and you have to
now
stay
I'm on
away
my
from
list.
children.
I really regret making that joke now.
You did streak for a school.
Woo! But this sounds quite interesting, because obviously it's another one of those legends, but it's actually quite a creepy one, because there's nothing creepier than ghosty children.
Yeah. So
I think this is going to be quite a short one because...
yeah, it probably will be. No,
I
because there's
know.
not much we can say.
I'll say why.
But no, you
Black-eyed
just said it.
children.
Every time we say that, it ends up being like an hour and a half long.
Yeah, but all we have to say with this one is they're children with black eyes. What else do we need to say?
Well, okay. The gist of it
Podcast over.
is... The gist of it is... We should probably give people the gist in case they haven't heard of it. The gist of it is that children between the ages of 6 and about 16... I don't know how they came up with these ages. Some kids can look young for their age. Some kids can look old for their age. I don't know if these people that encountered the children asked them specifically their age. But between 6 and 16, that have very pale skin and black eyes. Not just, the whole eye. Not just the iris.
yeah, there's
all of
literally
it.
no white in the eyes.
Yeah,
at
no
all.
white. So, I know you guys don't watch Supernatural, but people that do, when a demon takes over their body, the eyes go black. So it's sort of like that if you watch Supernatural. So completely black eyes. And usually they're hitchhiking or panhandling, or sometimes they do actually approach people's homes.
Why are they handling a pan?
Panhandling. It's do you not know what that is?
No.
It's when you're on the side of a road or something with a sign for, give me food or can you drive me to a place. You get them in America, you don't really
that's
get them here.
panhandling.
Yeah, you get them in America, you don't get them here. Well, not much. I haven't really seen any.
Most of them
Or-
end up dead, don't they?
Probably. On that stretch of road that we've talked about many, many times.
Yeah.
And they also approach people's homes and ask to be let in. And that is their one request, is they want to be invited into the car, the home, whatever, wherever they are.
Like a vampire.
Like a vampire, yes. And usually the people that interact with them, they have a rush of fear and anger and rage, and they don't understand why. And that's just in the presence of the children before they actually see the black eyes, which I don't understand. The stories that I've read, they see the black eyes fairly late. And I was like, if a person had all black eyes, that would be the first thing I noticed about them.
Yeah, but if they've got their head down...
They got their head down, then I just wouldn't interact with them because they're fucking rude, isn't? That's rude. You can't talk to someone with your head down if you're making a request. Another thing that is a characteristic of the black-eyed children is the way they speak. It's fairly monotone, sometimes old-fashioned, and yeah.
And they tend to repeat the same phrase.
They tend to repeat the same phrase, like they've just picked it out of They think it's something popular or something that should be used, so they do use that. And sometimes their clothes are quite dated as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you
my.
know what this
Not
reminds
always,
me
but
of a little
sometimes.
bit?
Yeah.
You know, in The Shining, the two twins, reminds me
Yeah.
a little bit of that almost.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
You know, that
Shit.
come play with us. Well, in a
Yeah, but the
more
twins,
girly
I think,
voice.
they feel like they seem friendlier.
Possibly.
Than the
But
Black-eyed
I
children.
still wouldn't.
Because-
But they're saying about the kids, it doesn't necessarily that they don't say it in a particularly nasty way.
No, but
But it's the general
when they're...
aura of them, I think, that.
Yeah,
it's
but
meant to
the
be
aura
quite-
puts people off and they refuse the request, and that's when the children get aggressive. They get aggressive. Whether
Cool.
it's they start shouting or they start bashing on the doors or whatever, they get aggressive, and that puts the fear of God into people even more.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah. So this actually became more relevant and widespread through the use of the internet, as everything does in like the 90s. But I think the earliest story dates back to 1988, I think, from Brian Bethel. He'd witnessed, I think he'd seen them in both Texas and Oregon, or one or the other, I can't quite remember. But they approached his car and they wanted to be let in, and they became really... And then he saw them, he saw the blacks of their eyes, and he refused them because the fear came over him.
Bloody
And
hell.
that's when they got aggressive and they started screaming at him. So yeah, that's what it dates back to. And then it's become more and more popular over time on the internet anyway. It's not widespread because, like, even Matt would tell you he didn't know what the hell I was talking about when I said when I suggested we should do this.
Obviously, it's probably a silly question considering the very minute detail and the people that actually did see them. But is there any case of anyone that did actually let them in and say what happened after that?
Well, no, but there is a writer. Well, he's not a writer. There's this guy called David Weatherly. I was going to go into this later, but seeing as though you've brought it up now, there's he's a guy called David Weatherly, and I love him because he said even I was a skeptic, and I thought this was an urban legend. His job title is a paranormal investigator. How the hell could he be a skeptic if he's a paranormal investigator?
Well, that's what they all say, don't they?
And yeah, so he's spoken to a few. He says one of his acquaintances came across them, and he's spoken to another lady that came across them. So I'll tell you those stories in a minute. But he actually, I think it was one of those audio podcasts that are on YouTube. I can't quite remember who the interview was with. I have to look that up or something. But he said he actually pondered whether people did actually let these children in. Even the people that are saying they didn't, maybe they let the children in and somehow they wiped their minds. Like, they some sort of wiped their minds. Somehow. I don't know why. I don't know how, first of all. And I don't know why they wouldn't have wiped the memory of actually meeting the children. And then we don't know what happens afterwards. But there's nothing actually about someone saying, oh, yes, I let them in. As far as I can tell, most people have refused them.
They have mind-wiping powers.
Well,
as
no, that's a speculation that David Weatherly makes. Because in the interview, the person that was talking to him asked about, what happens to the people that actually do let them in? So that's David Weatherly's response. He was like, they might have let them in and they might have had their minds wiped. They might have had the capability to do that. That's a theory, but as far as I can tell, there's no one out there that has said, yes, I let them in.
Has anyone
Jesus.
died after encountering?
Well, I don't know, because they wouldn't have been able to tell us they encountered the children. So it's a possibility that if you let them in, you could die.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't know about it, because how would we know about these little ghost, demon, vampire children?
Of course.
So it is a possibility that they could have been let in the house. I remember when I first heard this story a few years ago, I would just thought, oh my God, that would have been so much more fun than Knockdown Ginger. I used to think Knockdown Ginger was hilarious, but could you imagine if I got those... Because there are actual, lenses that would make your eyes black, but they cost a few £100 per lens, I guess.
You know,
But-
I've always been a bit icky about putting things in my eye, so I'd love to do that, but it's just, I don't know, I get a bit weirded out by the
Yeah,
the
my
whole eye
eyesight's
thing.
terrible. I'd be afraid to make it worse, but... But then again, the fact that these things exist could scream hoax, but then...
Never know.
Yeah, but then you've got the aura, so how can you explain that?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so this has only become
I
sort of
can explain
internet
that,
famous.
possibly.
Yes?
Most of these, ghost black-eyed children are encountered in abandoned areas, so kind of woods and forests and stuff like that. So there's a general kind of aura when you're walking in those kind of places. you do kind of tend to get quite scared.
Well, yeah, because you are secluded, but
Yeah.
that's because you looked into those. I didn't. I looked into the people that are trying to get, the kids that were trying to get in the car, and mainly the ones that were trying to get into the houses.
Yeah.
So how would you explain that? You're at your home, that's your comfort spot, that's the one place that you feel safe.
True. To me, this sounds like an excuse for, like, a paedophile or something. Like, who's trying to get me to get in my car? You know.
That's what I was thinking. What if these kids are real? And they were targeting adults because they're trying to find paedophiles. And the paedophiles were the ones that said yes, and they killed them. And that's a good thing, right?
Yeah,
I wonder.
Because that's another thing that I was thinking about was the paedophile thing. It teaches, and it also teaches paedophiles not to let children in their house.
It's all, yeah. As much as that happens, it could be like one of those old wives' tales, but reversed for adults. You know,
Yeah.
you never know.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
It's like an old wives' tale for paedophiles.
You know how there's, like, how you tell children not to talk to strangers?
Yeah.
You could tell, like, paedophiles not to talk to children.
Yes, that's what I was thinking when I was reading up about it. I was like, yeah, this is like a great story to tell a paedophile.
Yeah, keep to your business. You know.
At least we've made paedophiles relevant this episode.
Oh, yeah, good point.
If only someone had told this story to Jimmy Savile. You know.
So, yeah. One of the reasons that it has become popular is because of the internet, because I've tried to make that point 3 times now. And how actual websites like MSN and the Daily Mail, and you were saying a few others, weren't you, before, they have actually reported on it.
Well,
So that's sort of... I love how people think that's giving it some credence, whereas these websites and these newspapers would write about anything to get a few hits.
yeah. I mean, there has been, like, a whole spate of reportings in this country within the last year or so. There's been...
That just shows you that this country copy America. They should really stop.
Yeah, you really should.
Yeah.
But, yeah, because I was talking about...
You were talking about the wooded areas and
Yeah,
things. Because we watched the same thing, didn't we?
Yeah, because it's a place in the West Midlands, I think it is, called Cannock Chase.
Mm-hmm.
And this is famous for... Well, there's a particular reason why it's famous is that in the 60s there was a murder there. Well, there's 3 murders, actually. Famous, like, murderer called Raymond Leslie Morris. He murdered 3 children. And because there's an interesting idea that these black-eyed children are, like, the ghost of murdered children. So, you know, like,
Yeah,
how
that's
women
one theory, yeah.
how, like, women in white are kind of... They
Yes.
murdered their children, and it's ghosts of
Yeah,
them.
and they killed themselves,
It's kind
yeah.
of like the opposite of that in a way, almost. So yeah, this particular place has had there was a ghost sighted, like it says 30 years ago, but that's before this whole black-eyed children kind of idea came along, I think.
Yeah. Can I just stop you there?
Yeah.
Does this not feel like the Roswell incident to you, whereas they just made a story to fit the story? Well, to fit.
Yeah, kind of. Like, years later, they're turning it
Yeah,
into...
exactly. Now the black-eyed things has come, and it's like, actually, that's the ghost I saw years ago.
Yeah. Well, this ghost has never been sighted since, until last October, so October of 2014. The Daily Star, reputable newspaper.
Oh, God, yeah. I read that every morning.
Yeah. The Daily Star reports that it has been seen for a second time. And it explains how a ghost expert named Lee Brickley was contacted by a man who claims to have seen this black-eyed child ghost whilst walking his dog in the countryside area of Cannock Chase. Yeah,
How'd they know it was a ghost? Did he try and touch him or something?
Well, no.
But even then, ghosts can be corporeal.
Yeah, I think he's assuming it's a ghost. So
Whereas it could just be a child that got beaten up or something.
yeah, it could have just been a child just in a forest.
Yeah.
I can imagine he gets quite cold in a forest, so that could explain why they'd maybe be a bit pale, I suppose.
Or he could just be pale.
Yeah.
He
it
lives
could
in
just be
England.
pale.
He doesn't get much sun.
Yeah, I think it's a girl, though. It's more likely to be a girl. Cause
she lives in England. She
yeah.
doesn't get much sun.
Because, there's a theory that it's one of the ghosts of these murdered children from the 60s.
Do you have a date on when they were murdered, though?
Late 60s. I think it's 60... I think he was arrested in 68.
No, but I mean, like, the month, because they were cited October last year, so maybe it could be, like, an anniversary thing, if they were real.
I'll tell you what, I'll have a quick look,
Okay.
just so we can be sure.
See, Chris, this is what happens. We talk like human beings when you're not involved.
Yeah.
No, it's
But,
crazy.
I mean, interestingly, this Channick Chase is also known for, like, being UFO sightings as well.
Again, it feels like Roswell. They're just trying to make a story to get people to come.
Yeah. It's also a dogging site as well.
It aren't all woods.
Yeah. Stan Collymore, footballer, got caught there, apparently.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I saw pigeons dogging, and I thought that was hilarious.
In car. They were having sex
not in a car. They were in a car park, and there were other pigeons there. I guess that counts as them dogging.
The span of killings is apparently from the 8th of September 1965 to 19th of August 1967.
So and they were seen in October last year.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not even like an anniversary thing.
Not really, no.
No.
And yeah, I mean, it took 3 years to catch this guy. So
And maybe he killed other children.
Yeah, so obviously around the area it's quite famous, that whole story. So it's something that you can imagine has been passed down the generations. So yeah, but this man claims he came face to face with the jet black-eyed creature, as he says. So I'm now going to read how he described seeing it.
Oh, I love how you've done that. I haven't actually brought up any testimonials. I'm just going to think of it from memory. I hope I remember them.
Well, I thought this would carry a bit of weight, so I don't just sound like I'm coming up with something out of thin air.
Yeah. So Matt will be reading from a webpage, but it's not Wikipedia this time.
Fuck off.
Oh, by the way, Chris.
Yeah.
You know how we always delegate all the history and stuff to Matt to talk about? Because he seems to know his shit.
Yeah.
I figured out how he knows his shit. He's reading it directly from Wikipedia.
Not always. That was only Lindbergh and the Olaf Palmer.
All I know is that I thought like the wording was really familiar. And I was just like, hold on a second, I've read the Wikipedia page for this like 20 times over the last 10 years. I know he's reading it word for word.
I feel like I've just found out Santa's not real. It's shocking.
Wait, what?
It was 2 podcasts.
Santa wasn't real?
Oh, well done, Chris.
Oh,
You've
fuck.
broken to it.
I always get
theoretically.
another poll.
You deserve it. Well, I don't know whether to got a voice for this. This guy.
Hey, go for it. Do a voice.
Nah, I won't. So, he said, I was following my usual route when I started to hear something rustling in the bushes. Presuming it was a squirrel or something. So, presuming it was a squirrel or something similar, I carried on walking for around another 10 minutes. However, the noise seemed to follow me. After walking down a small path with trees either side, the noise started to come from a different direction. That's going Irish now, isn't it? But it seemed to be directly behind me. To my amazement, standing behind me was a small child, no older than 10, with her hands raised over her eyes. So he could have been just very ugly, possibly. The man explained that his dog started barking frantically as he asked the little girl if he was okay, but the child didn't respond. So they don't have much manners, do they?
Exactly, they're always looking down, not responding. What bastards? They get a smack from me anyway.
Yeah. And despite feeling a little disturbed, he carried on walking. Suddenly, the child appeared in front of me, this time with her hands down at her sides, he added. I almost fell over when I noticed her eyes were jet black. Again, my dog went mental, this time pulling me in the opposite direction. In the blink of the eye, the child was gone.
I forgot that is another characteristic. Animals don't like these things.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So the man said he was incredibly shaken by the encounter. Yet when he explained this to his friends and family, they just laughed at him.
I wonder why.
Yeah, exactly. But apparently they changed their minds when they saw the news coverage earlier this week. which apparently, because there's been more sightings.
Yeah, I've seen that because I just searched for it just before we were doing this, so there are new news stories coming up, popping up.
There's been one within the last few days, actually, which is in the Daily Mail. Yeah. Again, in Cannock Chase.
Bloody hell.
But again, Daily Mail.
Yeah. But there's also been, like, sightings in, like, a local pub in Cannock. There's been, like, sightings of ghosts. I don't know, I don't know whether these are the actual black-eyed ghosts. Children, but there's been ghosts of young children. Apparently,
guys, I think we should take a field trip to Cannock.
Yeah, this area is a hotbed. I mean, this area is not actually far away from me. Actually,
we should go.
We should do
to Cannock and look for children.
No, we should just go and we'll record an episode there or something. On location, like we never do anything for this podcast. Let's go and do an episode on location in Cannock Town.
I would rephrase what Chris said. Going to Cannock to look for children. I mean, we may
especially seeing as though you were just in prison.
Yeah,
and you're on that list.
So we tell the local sheriff when we get into town, like, oh, we're just here for kids. No, special ones, not any old kid.
You're picky, aren't you?
Yeah. So that would go down well.
Yeah, so, you being on that list and saying we were there for their kids.
So do you want me to read about the new one in the Daily Mail? Or
go for it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let me just get it up.
By the way, loved your voice.
Well, as it started, or...
The accent was...
I couldn't keep it up.
Amazing.
Yeah, it sounded too much like I was from the West Country or something, I thought.
I thought that was what you were trying to do.
The West Country? Well, yeah, it's meant to be West Midlands, so it's meant to be more like Birmingham accent, almost. So there's a paranormal investigator who claims that this black-eyed ghost child...
I love paranormal investigators. Like, what qualifies them?
Yeah. I don't know.
We could all become paranormal investigators.
Aren't they just amateurs who just happen to have seen a lot of these things, apparently? Well, they don't even... Apparently, they don't even see... half the things. They're going on what people have said.
Yeah, I know. That's David Weatherly.
Yeah. So there's a belief in Cannock Chase that this black-eyed ghost that they keep saying is Christine Darby, which was a 7-year-old who was murdered by that Raymond Leslie Morris. And there's a video that you can see on the Daily Mail website. I think it's probably on YouTube though, or somewhere else. And basically, well, it is. They're walking around the wood of, like, Cannock Chase, and basically you see this kind of light go past, and they're trying to say that this is a human, or a ghost, basically. And apparently why they believe this has some kind of... why they believe this could be a ghost is that a human doesn't have natural light. And this is some kind of natural light that just kind of... It appears like it walks past. Now,
That's funny, because the original, like, stories of the black-eyed children from America are nothing like that.
Yeah. They're saying it's black-eyed child, but from this video, you can't see its eyes, from what I can see. And plus, I mean, you can't even tell it's a human. It's not... I've seen a photo of it, it actually looks like an information
Was it in
sign.
the woods?
Yeah, in the woods.
How do they not know it's just a beam of light that's come through the trees?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just the way it drifts across, I suppose, is what might make some people believe it's...
Yeah, clouds.
Possibly.
Yeah, sometimes I say stupid things, but then I hear other things and realise I'm actually quite a smart, or at least competent person at the very least.
So, yeah.
But hang on, this is the Daily Mail we're talking about, guys.
Oh, yeah, they're never wrong.
So, yeah.
I know.
They never make shit up just for hits.
So, they're a very credible source.
Yeah, this paranormal investigator is called Tom Buckmaster, and he's 23, so he's quite young to be doing that.
He's our age.
Yeah.
Well, he's my age. You guys are older than me, aren't you? I keep forgetting you guys are older than me. He's my age. I'm probably more qualified than him. I've been watching Supernatural for 10 years. I'm going on 11 years now.
Yeah, apparently this video shows a pale white face glowing in the darkness with two distinctive black eyes. From what I can... Maybe my eyesight's dodgy. Maybe you should like, watch it or something, because...
We'll go with what you're saying and we'll watch it after we're done.
From what I can see, I can't see eyes. I can even...
How far away is this light?
It's a kind of few steps in front, at least.
So
If you do,
you wouldn't be able to really see their eyes.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even say convincingly it's a human. It just literally, to me, it's a light that drifts across, which could be anything.
Yeah,
it could be
anything.
someone on the other side with a torch or something like that.
Or it just could be what I do, like with my iPhone. I sometimes put the torch on by mistake and wonder, what the fuck is that light coming from?
Yeah.
And then realise it's in my hand. I'm not very good with all this modern technology.
Yeah.
To be fair, that does sound like a Daily Mail editor.
Yeah, I mean, this one of the photos on this Daily Mail page, it actually looks like an information sign. You know, like the eye with a big dot on the top.
Yeah.
Just that. Basically what it looks like. I don't believe that at all. But someone's saying this is apparently the most convincing footage yet or something.
Yeah, because, like, none of the other footage has been remotely convincing either. I've seen a couple of videos and I'm just like, what? That's just a kid.
Have you seen the video? It's from a drone and it's flying over Cannock Chase. And it reportedly, well, you can see a figure near the woods or just inside the wood. Have you seen
Well, that's just a fucking figure.
To me, it's just a human that's standing there. I mean, either they deliberately placed her there, because, you know, she just happens to be there as they're flying a drone over.
People like going through walks in the woods. I wouldn't personally do it because, you know, I don't like being murdered. But people do it.
Yeah, I mean, I can, you know...
I say I don't like being murdered, like I've been murdered before.
It does it does look like she's hiding slightly. But
So it could be kids playing hide and seek.
Yeah, but I thought... I mean, if you see a drone in the air or if you see something flying in the air, you think, you might not necessarily want to kind of be in its path, do you?
I tend to just look up and stand. Like I do with CCTV, sometimes I'm wave at it.
Yeah. But
I think that'll give the surveillance people a treat. People actually being nice to them.
Yeah. I mean, most people, I think, would say it's a human being. But for these, like, paranormal people, it's a ghost. I'm like... The first thing you think is a human. That's what I think when I see it.
Yeah.
So what? She looks slightly pale. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it's a stunt.
Like, you're pale, but I never think you're a black-eyed child. I mean, you don't have black eyes, but you know what I mean.
No.
From a distance, I wouldn't think you're a black-eyed child.
No.
Both of you are pale, actually. Are you both black-eyed children?
I'm brown-eyed.
Well, I'm blue-eyed. But I don't suppose you'd know that because I'm always covering my eyes anyway. So.
Yeah, with the hair.
I'm a brown-eyed girl. Boy.
La la la.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, your people think it's a ghost.
My
David
people?
Weather... Yeah, your people, as in the people that you've researched, think it's a
What
ghost.
do you mean,
Yeah.
my people?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to include you in the paranormal investigator bracket. I mean, the people that you researched.
Yeah.
Whereas David Weatherly, he thinks it's some sort of demonic being because there's two stories that he goes on about a lot. And because I've listened to a few things of him because I just think he's funny. There's two stories that he goes on about a lot. One is a friend of his. Of course, it's a friend of his. I can't remember his name. I think he gave him a pseudonym anyway. So let's just call him Trevor. Right. So Trevor is a prison guard. So he's quite big, and not a lot can frighten him. He dealt with Chris a lot in prison. Nothing? Nothing?
Oh,
okay, fine.
I literally thought you were just telling a story, and I was about to say, that sounds familiar. And I
this the
thought,
same
for
Trevor?
fuck's sake.
Is this...
I don't know. This is just the name that I've given him because I can't remember the pseudonym that
T-Bone.
David gave him. So I'm going to call him Trevor.
Is this the
We
one that
call him
works at
T-Bone.
Wagamama's?
Yeah, so Trevor... no, he's two completely different people. All right, so this Trevor in America... He's a prison guard, so he's quite big. He knows how to handle himself, especially around criminals and stuff. He's at home alone one night. His wife and his child are away. They've gone to visit some people, and he hears a knock on the door. And he goes to open the door, and he sees a child. He's a young boy. I think he's like a preteen or something, or just on the cusp of teenage. And he has his head down, of course, and he's talking, and he asks to be let in. And then the guy's thinking, well... Is he a friend of my son's? And then he realised, no, he can't be. His son's a bit too young to be friends with him. And then he's saying, no, you can't come in. You should probably go home, whatever, all that jazz. And then he looks up at him. And then Trevor sees the black eyes and the whole fear comes over him. And he shuts the door. He slams the door shut. And the boy tries to get in. Well, he's not trying to get in. He's still asking to be let in. And he starts banging on the door and stuff and banging on the door. And then Trevor runs to the kitchen and sort of like hides. but then he comes out again. Actually, no, I didn't. No, he didn't see the eyes initially. He just felt the fear. I should have been reading it like you. He felt the fear. He didn't see the eyes. But then he looks back when he's in the kitchen, and his front door has windows in it, and the kid is looking through. That's when he sees the black eyes. So he runs up to get his gun from his room, because this is America. You shoot children. And then he goes back to the front door, and he opens it, and the child has just vanished.
That is kind of creepy, actually.
Yeah, that's one story that he goes on about a bit. But David Weatherly also says that he doesn't want the person, Trevor, or whoever the person is, doesn't actually want to publicise it. And it took a while for Trevor to come forward to David Weatherly to actually discuss it. There's another story David Weatherly brings up as well. Let's call him Dave. Dave brings up as well. I don't think he actually knows the woman personally. I think he might have had a meeting with her, or at least he says he did. There's this woman... Again, I don't think she got a name either. She was at a petrol station with her young son, and she needed to go in to buy something, I guess, or pay for the gas or whatever, doing whatever mothers do. And she leaves the child in the car, because she's only going to be away for a minute. So she goes and does her business in the station, and then comes out, gets in the car. She looks back at her child, and there's a child sitting next to him with black eyes.
Christ.
Yeah. And then she said, "Are we going to?" And then he was asking if she was going to take him home, and the fear of God came over her, and she grabbed the child, ran into the petrol station, and the attendant that was working there came out, and the child was gone. He couldn't see anything, and she was so shaken up that her husband had to come and get her and try and calm her down, and she wouldn't get back in the car. So her husband gave her his car to drive home with, and he took her car. And on the way home, he was in a car accident, but he survived. So that she felt that was a bad omen, and she'd questioned her son on what happened and why did you let the boy in the car? Why did you let the boy in the car? And then the son said, I think the son must have been quite young. The son said, well, he just wanted to come home and play with us, so I let him in the car. Is he going to come home and play with us? And then, yeah, she got all freaked out. And eventually, the young boy, her son, got really sick, and the doctors didn't know what was wrong with him. He kept getting symptoms for loads of different things, but there was nothing. And, okay, this is where it gets a bit... I was going to say, this is where it gets a bit weird. Like, the whole rest of it wasn't weird. But she, sort of prayed over him and stuff, and he ended up getting better. So she thinks it's God saving him. And through these two stories, David Weatherly thinks it's like a demonic possession. These kids are demonic beings, and they're draining some sort of a life force, which is why the child got sick. He invited him into the car. But, yeah, so there's another theory. You got ghosts. He got demons.
Yeah, I've got another possible theory.
Yeah?
Here.
I think it's more likely to be vampires, because they want to be invited in, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
This theory is from a blog. It's L.A. Marzulli. This is some guy. I think he's into paranormal stuff as well. Yeah, I think he's probably got a book out or something. He's probably one of those.
Oh, David Weatherly actually has a book out as well.
Yeah, he does.
He's the Black Eyed Children.
He's not just done one on Black Eyed Children, though. He's done on loads.
No, he's like a proper paranormal investigator that people seem to listen to.
We'll probably do another podcast and other stuff that he's probably written about.
Yeah, I probably will, because I mean, I don't think there's any credence in it, but I do think it's quite interesting.
It's a fascinating kind of work.
He does sound convincing. I think you guys should actually go away and listen, because some of his stuff is on YouTube, because he does what we do, the audio podcast on YouTube.
Does he?
So some of the stuff that he does talk about is quite interesting, especially because I've only listened to the one with the Black Eyed Children, the ones that were involving that, because that's what we were doing this week. But yeah, I'd quite like to check out some of his other stuff.
Yeah, well, this blog kind of mentions David Weatherly, because this guy, he was going to interview David Weatherly at some point. So he explains that he interviewed this woman called Leia, and it's probably in America, I guess. So Leia was out jogging, like joggers do. She'd never heard of black-eyed kids before. Apparently she wasn't really aware of many of the phenomena. She said she was running in a place where she'd never seen a child before.
Oh, can I go live there?
Yeah. Well, in general, you rarely see anyone, apparently, where she was jogging. It's just slightly odd place to jog.
It's dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah, I
no
wouldn't
one could
necessarily
kill you
jog
and no
around
one
it.
would witness it.
Yeah. Basically, she saw this child standing next to the curb, and his face was away from her, so she couldn't at this point see it. It had black eyes, so she kind of thought it was odd that there was a child there for the reasons she stated earlier, and she sort of noticed that his clothes didn't look right. They seemed to be like too big for the boy. And like as she approached the boy, she was gonna give him a smile and say hello. But then she was about 2 feet away, and then he just picked his head up, and she saw these eyes, and it was just black with no whites in them. And this is Leah's word, apparently. They were like looking down a long, dark shaft, where at the bottom was a pool of evil. So Leah was shocked and terrified. She bolted as fast as she could from the scene and didn't look back. And apparently she was unnerved for hours, and it took ages for her to calm down. And she never read David Weatherly's books or anything like that. This the person who wrote this blog, when he interviewed her, he showed her David Weatherly's book, and I don't know if it's got like a picture of one of the black-eyed kids on or something. But when she saw that, she recoiled and asked for them to take the picture away. This guy has got a theory about what these these black-eyed children are, and it's basically his theory is that they are a Nephilim hybrid. Now, Nephilim, it has rather kind of almost kind of biblical origins, because it goes back to the time before the flood, in Noah's kind of age.
Yeah, Noah's.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
And so the idea was that Nephilim were the offspring of sexual relationships between the sons of God and the daughters of men. So there's this idea that these sons of gods are like fallen angels, and so these children are the kind of spawn of sons of God, basically, these fallen angels, and that's where they get their evil, apparently. So
That makes sense.
Yeah, and when Leah was asked to kind of describe who she thought this black-eyed child was, she said it was the spawn of Satan. She definitely felt that there was kind of this child was evil, and she said it felt like the child had no soul at all. And this guy thinks this is interesting because he suggests that we are living in the window of time that Jesus warns us will precede his second coming.
Is this guy a Bible basher, by any chance?
Possibly. I don't think you even always need to be a Bible basher to believe in that kind of thing, though, sometimes.
And do we definitely know that this Leah exists? Because of all these testimonies, because I've read other ones like on Reddit and stuff, you don't know if these people exist.
I know. It always amuses me how these paranormal investigators, someone told me. And they give like a description. It could be anyone. You could be describing anyone.
Yeah, like this David Weatherly. That's why he sounds eloquent enough. He sounds intelligent. He has compelling stories, but it's all hearsay.
Also, they always choose people who have no knowledge beforehand. I think that's kind of convenient, because because that will make people believe. Well, if it's people like that will believe they saw that kind of thing, that's going to give it credence and stuff like that.
Yeah. I can understand people that know about the black-eyed children seeing them, because you see what you want to see. It's the mind, really. So if you've read about the black-eyed children, you go out and you see a creepy-looking kid from a distance that has pale skin, you're going to think, oh shit, that's a black-eyed child. It's like the same thing that happens after you watch a horror movie. You're scared of your own shadow, because you think, oh, that's going to be a zombie killer or whatever.
But I kind of find it quite funny, because he's saying the possible explanations for why these kind of black-eyed children exist is that there are fallen angels that are going around having sex with the women of Earth. or they're in some way kind of artificially inseminating women. I just kind of find it funny.
Yeah.
So
it's a theory that's as good as all the other ones.
Yeah.
The ghosts and the demonic beings, and our one, the vampires, which I'd go behind the vampires, because their clothes are a bit funny, their speech is a bit funny. Clearly they don't get out much, because, you know, they can't go out during the day. Actually, no, there are some that have been sighted during the day. Okay, yeah, my theory's gone.
Yeah.
I love how I don't need to converse with you. I talk myself out of things.
I tell you what made me laugh, though, going back to the one that was reported in the Daily Star, or no, the Daily Mail. The guy said that he didn't realise what he'd caught on tape until he was watching it back. I was like, how shit a paranormal investigator you are. You're out looking
That is what
for
he was
ghosts,
looking for.
and you missed the bloody thing when it's actually there. I'm like, how unobservant are you, you twit?
Yeah.
I mean, you're bloody recording it as well. How can you not see it?
Okay.
I mean, where was he bloody looking?
I love how... Matt, we should never say this is going to be a short one.
Yeah. Oh, are we over, like, the hour mark? Yeah.
No, not yet,
The
but
place.
we will be soon. But I don't think there's much more I can say because there are so many other stories. I don't really want to read them all out.
I just want to do one more possible theory.
Okay, then, cool. Go for it.
Because this is more sceptical approach to this idea.
Alright.
But it's kind of interesting. Basically, there's another blog called Journal of the Bizarre, I think.
Okay, can I just stop you for one moment?
Yeah.
It's funny how all these people just come from blogs.
Yeah.
They
This
don't,
is-
and the Daily Mail, of course, but
know.
blogs and the Daily Mail.
But I think this one, I kind of go into it a little bit. I kind of believe it's a bit more believable because it's more sceptical.
Okay.
Basically, this blog did a blog post that linked the whole black-eyed children phenomena to recreational drug use because it is some of these drugs are known to have kind of side effects where it makes the eyes look bigger. And if your eyes are quite dark, that could have like the effect of turning like your eyes black. But they got this guy. I mean, again, he wouldn't give his real name because apparently he could be like a drug dealer or something like that. But
They
he
never
has-
give their real name.
Yeah, he has knowledge of like the recreational drug world and stuff like that. And he says that there's a drug called atropine. Don't know how you kind of pronounce that
Atropine.
properly. Yeah, basically, he says these guys, these black kids, messed up on
Black-eyed
drugs.
kids.
Yeah, black-eyed kids.
Let's not say black kids.
Did I say that?
Yeah, he said black
Yeah.
kids.
Sure. But this drug, atropine, can cause mydriasis. Again, I'll go to Tarmin for the pronunciation on that one.
Mind your eyes is...
Yeah, mind your eyes. I don't know. I've never heard about that.
But yeah, it apparently makes the pupils of the eyes appear really big.
Yeah, so it dilates the pupils. That's what drugs do.
Yeah, but it's a kind of it's a big like recreational drug on the scene right now, and it's called cherry bombs. That's apparently what it's called.
Oh, I've heard
Yeah,
about
sounds
this.
right.
It's a shot made out of Lomatil and Red Bull. And apparently it's very popular with the youth, as it says here, because it produces hallucinations and the user can become, like, really
Seems like a
excited
cheap
and stuff
drug as
like-
well, if Red
Yeah.
Bull's involved.
Sounds a bit like kind of almost got an ecstasy or kind of like LSD side to it. So, yeah. But what's interesting about Lomatil is that it's an anti-diarrhea pill. And but it's got a kind of cherry flavour. That's why it's called cherry bombs. One of the reasons why apparently kids like to use it is that it's very hard to overdose. So it's not as addictive
It
as
doesn't feel
normal
like
drugs.
a proper drug. It feels like, you know, a few
Yeah.
years ago, how people were going on about how teenagers are sniffing bath salts, and that came out
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like, have you ever tried to sniff a bath salt? Bath salt to your sneeze. So
Yeah.
I don't even think it sounds like a real drug.
Yeah, but he's saying that together, because the drug kind of makes your eyes dilate, so does the caffeine apparently in the Red Bull. So you apparently you can get black eyes from that kind of thing. But for it to go completely black apparently, because apparently he links this to Japan and the kind of anime scene. You know how like in
Yeah, they
anime,
want to make them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they have really
I've seen
black bulging eyes, don't they?
yeah.
I've seen some pictures of this
People actually
trend.
have surgery to look like it,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
weird.
And so this blog says that because most black-eyed children, you tend to catch a fleeting glimpse of them from like an interior room that's illuminated. So that has a natural effect of making anyone's eyes look quite black. Mm-hmm. And particularly if you've had all this drug stuff and caffeine, it'd be even more so. But one thing that kind of works against this idea is that some of these black-eyed children are meant to be as young as 5 or 6, and the idea that they might be, you know, off their heads on...
They could be small... They could be dwarfs.
Small running around town.
They could be dwarfs. Maybe
away.
dwarfs take the drug a lot.
Yeah, but if you're to take the idea seriously that they are 5 or 6...
Yeah, dwarfs still don't look 5 or 6.
Yeah, how do you explain them being kind of... being off their heads on atropines and Red Bull? I mean, it's not necessarily most...
Yeah, but wouldn't that make them more hyper, not like monotone, as we've heard the black-eyed children are?
Yeah, I could...
If it's sort of like ecstasy and LSD, you'd be high, and it would... Because what it sounds like is if the kids are on drugs, it'll be some sort of a depressant.
Yeah. This guy, this drug dealer, I think he's a drug dealer. He might sue me for libel if I say that. So. But basically...
Then he'd have to reveal himself.
Yeah. He says that he's probably talking about the older kids that are more like the 16 kind of age. He says that he believes they're more likely to be kind of like gamers or geeks, nerds who are obsessed with like anime and cosplay and comic books. So he kind of thinks it's kind of... There's an anime kind of fandom in America that's going around pretending to be black-eyed children. Basically.
Wow,
This is his theory. And so, yeah, he thinks it's people. That would explain why apparently they're all white, how they're all pale. And particularly, he thinks it's a mixture of, like, these people obsessed with anime and taking drugs.
I find it funny how it's these people that are obsessed with anime. We've only heard about white black-eyed children. Wouldn't there be some Asian people that are obsessed with anime?
Yeah, but someone was saying that... So one of the comments on this blogger was saying... There's not, like... He was saying that there's not a huge anime fandom in America... Or certainly not the size that there is in, like, Japan.
No, it's like a cult thing.
Yeah.
There's not many, but some of them are rabid.
Yeah. So someone was saying, would it be that likely that it would be this kind of these people obsessed with anime? I think it's possible, personally.
I don't believe the drug exists.
Well, atropine.
Well, no, the cherry bomb thingy, I don't think it would exist and it would do that. I don't think it would turn them into black-eyed children.
No, he's not saying it turns them into black-eyed children. He's saying it would affect their eyes, though.
Yeah, but I don't think they'd behave the same way that we've heard the black-eyed children behave.
Not necessarily, no. It doesn't explain that. But also, he's saying apparently atropine is... Or no, Lomatil or whatever I said it was. That's quite easy to get, apparently, though. Because Lomatil, that's it. Apparently, all you need to say to your parents is... I can't stop shitting, as this blog puts it. And apparently your parents will give you this Lomatil.
Yeah.
So... But
again, even if that was true, explain the young kids.
Yeah, it still doesn't explain, like, the 6-year-olds off their heads on anti-diarrhea pills and Red Bull. I mean, why would a young kid be wandering around a forest off his head on...
Have shitty parents, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
But then again, there's probably factors that you don't know about, you know.
So yeah, that's like the more sceptical theory. So it's saying basically black-eyed kids don't exist. It's basically so basically he's saying it's just these kids off their heads on drugs. Apparently Lomatil does explain the white skin as well, because apparently an afterside of Lomatil is flushed skin.
So that's all Michael Jackson really had to do?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
So that's his idea. Well, apparently the monotone expressions that might be related to anime or something like that.
But aren't anime characters more? They're not monotone.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. It depends. Because I don't know enough about anime to comment on that.
Chris, it's your time in the sun. It's your time in the spotlight. I say sun, spotlight. Go for it.
Well, for anime fan, you'd say twilight. Or nighttime.
I'm sorry.
Because there's no sunlight.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll let that pass. But what did you want to know?
Are anime characters monotone? I don't think they are.
Do you mean they only have one voice for each character?
No, as in they're pretty stable going. They don't really emote.
Oh, the thing about anime is it's all about character development.
Exactly. So I don't
there's
think...
always emotion.
Yeah, they wouldn't be monotone. I haven't
But
watched
there
much,
are-
but yeah, you've watched more, so...
There's badly dubbed anime as well, so you get a lot of fans of the early 90s anime, which is just terribly dubbed and completely monotone. But it's changing. But yeah, anime is known for being monotone at times. That's part of why people take the piss out of it, really.
So yeah, it could possibly explain it.
Yeah, anything that we've said could possibly explain it. They all have equal reasons of existing.
Yeah.
But me and you are... Yeah, I think we should ask Chris what he thinks about it, seeing as though he came in not knowing much.
I have yet to believe that they do exist, and in that sense, I'm thankful because they're fucking terrifying.
They would be.
anything
Like, I'm
with-
home alone now, and I'm about to
Yeah.
slate it, and now I'm thinking at the back of my head, what
Yeah.
if it's real and they come up to my door?
What if just by denying it, you've challenged them, and yeah, at some point in the future, not near enough future that it can be, tested, but at some point down the road, you are going to be thinking, "Oh, I'm jogging. Let's go down this shortcut and down this foresty area."
We go jogging.
Just everything you can to bring them out. You swear out their name. Go down to where was it? Where was it?
Cannock
area.
Chase.
Cannock Chase. Go down to Cannock Chase specifically to go jogging during the night hours.
Again, we go jogging.
Yeah, we're never going to get killed. But yeah, I don't believe it, but because I don't want to.
Yeah, kids are creepy. I don't want to believe it either.
I mean, it's bad enough that kids exist. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Creepy kids? Creepy kids? What, you mean just kids? No, creepy kids. Yeah, just kids. Yeah, the kids is one of the creepiest things that have ever been put into fiction. So, with the whole Roswell thing... with the whole Chase thing, I don't believe it. Factually and hopefully.
Yeah. I have trouble believing because no one has actually come out publicly. Like, you've got these paranormal investigators who are saying, so-and-so said this, but I want the person that actually said it to come out publicly. And maybe then I will look into it. We could actually properly look into it. But it's stories just filling up the internet. It's just because it's something scary that people want to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem with this is that a lot more people are starting to believe it because it has started to gain like a lot of attention.
Yeah, in the mainstream media.
Yeah, because it's starting to get there's more and more sightings. Like, I mean, within like last year or so, there's been loads of sightings apparently, and in this Cannock Chase, people certainly believe that there's certainly some kind of ghost there. It's certainly, I think it's just an extension of the whole ghost kind of thing, basically.
Yeah. There's only so many stories. This is just a newer one.
I personally don't believe it because I've never seen one, and I'm the arbiter of everything. So I decide whether things exist or not. So
Yeah. No, if there was evidence of it, like any sort of evidence of it, I would get behind it because it's quite interesting.
yeah,
I mean, sure, it's scary, but come on, at least life would be interesting then.
I still like to believe in that there's mysteries out there that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds weird, but the whole Area 51 thing, it's an old list, and experiments and stuff. Part of it kind of excites me because I like the knowledge that there's urban myths out there, or the fact that we haven't explored the entire ocean yet, or things that are undiscovered. I like the idea of that. I don't want to know everything. I want there to be some sort of mystery.
Yeah, because if there wasn't, we wouldn't have this podcast.
Exactly. Can I put it better?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. Not a big sense, but thank you guys for telling me about this. It's actually been quite interesting.
Yeah, no problem. We're going to do it anyway. Without you. Because you planned this while you were in prison, you see.
I know.
So, Chris, you probably shouldn't go out looking for children, the black-eyed children, personally. I don't think you should.
No.
But, yeah.
Yeah, me and Tarman will go.
Yeah, we're so lazy, though. Like, we were supposed to do this ages ago. But, yeah. So, yeah. I think that's all that can be said.
The last thing, just to recap, we do believe that they should exist to stop paedophiles inviting children
Yes.
into their house.
Yes.
No, they should exist, and
Well,
I like
they
the
can't.
urban legend. Maybe that is why it came about, this urban legend, was to stop paedophiles from approaching children.
Yeah.
It could even be that, like it's not a silly guess, not as a silly guess as you
No,
might
that's
think.
what I
like-
was thinking. But when I first started listening to David Webley's stuff a few weeks ago. Yeah.
You never know. You never know. Another mystery for the book.
But even if it's not real, like the stories, because I know I didn't make it sound scary because I was just trying to remember them off memory. The stories are quite scary, so if you lot into that sort of thing, look them up. There's tons on Reddit, and there's tons of creepypasta adaptations of it. But yeah, so if you're into scares and Halloween, I'm going to say Halloween is approaching, but by the time this airs, it's already gone. So,
Spooktaculars.
no. By the time this airs, Halloween will probably have gone. But yeah, if you're into that sort of stuff, there are actually good reads. So I'd go for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds very Lovecraftian, if you ask me.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Lovecraft is creepy. No, but it's creepy good. Julia has my Lovecraft book. I keep forgetting to get it from her.
Ah, I see. Well, we have lots of copies of the Necronomicon at work.
No,
so-
but I've got like an anthology of his, and I liked it, and I want it back.
have you? Oh.
I need to get it back from her because she borrows loads of stuff from me, but I keep forgetting to get it back.
Yeah, well, we have the commemorative edition, so, yeah.
That will go on my list of things
There you
for
go.
you to put aside for me.
Excellent.
All right, so.
Awesome.
I think it's time to bid good day again.
Bid good day.
Again for this episode. Bid good day.
Yes, good day.
Farewell, friends.
And
Toodle-pip.
fuck the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, we hate you.
Just pump it. Just pump one.
Play
Pump
with.
one out.
All right, bye.
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 Why so quick to go?
Bye bye.